the way that God moves, his movement is unmatched. You know, his movement is not even understood. His movement, there's nothing that you can compare it to. His movement is perfect. His movement is amazing. His movement is incredible. And the way that God moves, it will shock you. Like it really will shock you. And the reason why it shocks you is because his movement will never be the way that you thought, or his movement will never be the way that you expect it. Even when you're expecting it to come a certain way, or even when you're expecting God to show up, or you're expecting God to just move in your life in general, even when he moves, he still shocks you. And when I think about that, it just shows how much of a student we have to be when it comes to our Father being the teacher. It shows how no matter how much we read, how much we pray, how much we walk with God, no matter how much we love God, that we are never on the same level as him. So even when we pray and we're talking to God, and we're waiting on God to move, or we're expecting God to move, in some area in our life, the movement that he moves with, it's always going to shock us, and it's always going to surprise us. Not surprising us as to if, God, I didn't expect you to show up, or not shocking us in the way of, Lord, I didn't know that you were going to move. No, the faith and the doubt is gone, but the faith is here. So the movement and, the way that he moves, when I say shocking, when I say surprises you, it's because he does it in his own way. He moves according to his plan. He moves according to his will. He moves according to his wisdom and according to his knowledge, however he sees fit. That's how he moves. And in his movement, it's scary at times, because no matter how much you try to figure it out, no matter how much you try to understand it, because see, your faith, it connects with him. So you say, Lord, I trust in you and I believe and I have faith in you. And God's like, I hear you and I know that, but you don't understand the way that I move. You don't know how I'm going to move. So when you do not understand how God is going to move and you don't know how he's going to move, it causes you to sit back and relax and understand that I'm just a student. I'm just a student sitting back and watching the teacher at work. I'm just a student sitting back and watching